Well, hello and welcome back, my realist friends from around the world. It's December 19th, 2022. My name is Reagan, your host and holder of this channel, which is reporting the ongoing ecological collapse and near-term human extinction. Welcome back. It's a frigid, cold day here in northern Ohio, and I'm feeling a bit of the SADS, or seasonal affective disorder, a very common thing. That being said, I churned out content this year, and what better way to wrap up the year than a responding to comments video. Yep, tons of funny things you guys wrote to me over the past month. I was churning out content, again, almost every day, and I am pretty pooped, not gonna lie, burnout. I'd like to wrap up this year on a good note, and again, thank all of you guys for participating in this discovery and self-rehabilitation of learning about the terminal illness that we've been given. Civilization will crumble within the next decade. No question. And you'll wish you were dead by 2040. All right? So now that we're all caught up to speed, I want to begin today's comments reading with a little segment from Climate and Economy, the website. I used this person's, I think he's in the UK. Yes, he's definitely in the UK. I used his content because it's just so well done and all placed in one easy to read format. I used it for like a better part of this year. And so I'd just like to read what he wrote as he's leaving for his Christmas vacation. I'm going to paraphrase here a little bit. He's visiting family. He'll be back on the 30th of December. And I want to read what he wrote. I had a vague notion as I lay in bed this morning of putting together a bit of an annual recap, but I quickly realized that it's actually a challenge, probably an impossible one, to find a corner of the planet that hasn't generated some eye-popping statistic this year. It would take me longer than I have to do an even moderately thorough one. Europe had its worst drought in 500 years with a heat wave that pushed the UK over 40 degrees Celsius for the first time. China's heat wave was the most intense and prolonged we have yet seen anywhere. Central and northwest India and Pakistan had an unprecedented spring heat wave. More on that. The latter then experienced a mind-boggling summer of floods, as did vast swaths of sub-Saharan Africa. Australia's rainfall likewise smashed records. So many heat records. Both land and marine have fallen in what's supposed to be a cooler La Nina year. The prospect of an El Nino in 2023 is concerning, to say the least in context. The odds for that currently seem to be in the 50-50 ballpark, so I'll just be keeping track as best I can of the evidence that climate is increasingly destabilized and tilting to extremes. In the meantime, I wish you all very happy holidays, and if you happen to be in large areas of the state, Canada, and so on, be enveloped by a blast of cold air. I hope you manage to stay warm. Very nice of you to write, Justin Panopticon. Now, let's hop over to comments. Bearing witness to climate change. Peter Thompson says, here, well said and good summary. We do make our own meaning within our reasonable constraints. I agree, financially, physically, geographically, culturally, and ideologically. But it's time to live our lives without fear, for it will be over soon. Much love, brother. That's very nice. Skipping back a little bit to nuclear fusion and Pope's horrific vision of the future, as if this was a surprise. Lone Wanderer writes, suddenly everyone was having apocalyptic visions of the future. Imagine that. Yeah, imagine that. We get Code Red for Humanity in 2020, the leading scientists in the world protesting, and suddenly you have the Pope coming out and saying that he has some vision of the future. I mean, it really is nepotism. That's the word. Nepotism. Mark Fulbrighton writes, the way the world is headed, I am really hoping they make euthanasia legal for everyone. And if they can't do that, hopefully the government will give us some free nitrogen so we can duck out before it gets any worse. Very astute comment. And I want to add to that saying, I said to a friend recently that I'm glad I own a firearm just so that I have an escape plan, because if this gets too horrendous,
you know what I mean?
You've all been there. The knowledge that I have an exit plan, or that I can exit at any time, that means something. Bill G. It's very same video. It's very unlikely that fusion will save the planet. Fossil fuels will continue to be the only way to keep this polluted and overpopulated planet until systems break down, along with climate changes that will be happening in the near future. Indeed, nuclear fusion is like 30 years off. And on that note, COP15 provided hundreds of billions of dollars to biodiversity, saving biodiversity by 2030. Yeah, China plans to sanction off 30% of its wildlife and sacred areas by throwing money at it, as if greenhouse gases don't affect extreme weather patterns, let's say that, in these areas. Okay? There's no amount of money you can throw at saving the squirrels and bugs and plants and whole ecosystems that's going to save them or us. Earthworms are down. The earthworm population is down like 33% in the past 30 years. Okay? The trend is not looking good. So many things going on at once. Green Xeno in the same video. If I click off after the 90 second, it's for my mental health and I often come back later and make another attempt. I understand that. The content that I provide is very thought-provoking, very in your face, and even I can handle it, and only in small chunks. Just when I'm feeling courageous, or that's the word, courageous, I start to document this stuff on camera. On my GTFO bag, more food, everyone's saying, yes, I'm aware, I'm going to be packing more food as the years progress or months. Wade In says in the same video, you don't want to be in a city or anywhere. I know, man. I know, I think about this. This whole pretty much everywhere in America, there's nowhere safe.
Dyers. Most of us are dyers.
Other people are imagining their 401k plans cashing out. I see just blood and carnage on the streets, just complete chaos. I envision that, and I document it here. Spot another comment here. I'll find something. On Realist Mental Health Checkup, I try to go outside as much as possible. It helps my mental health. I agree, Aaron, which is part of the reason why I'm feeling sad right now, because I'm not going out as much. It is a very unfortunate tragedy that the other life forms having to suffer because of us humans. Indeed. Humans killing humans, not a big deal. Humans killing animals, not cool. Lone Wonder, not chopping on you, man, said, not sure how much longer I can take, to be honest. I slept by the river, just want to drive in. Yep. The feelings of the gloom and despair, anger, rage, sadness, I think it's perfectly reasonable to occasionally experience those again and go through bouts of...
Was a delusion. Delusions. Delusions.
Was. Delusion.
Sadness. You should, if you're not feeling that way, then I'm not sure I want to hang out with you. I mean, I was just talking to my roommate about having a non-doomer girlfriend, and I don't think that's possible. Logs are a little wet, but it's cranking out heat. Olivia Chipperfield on Can Hardly Stand to Live in This Sick Society, a video I published a little over a week ago. Fabrics that are used to make our clothing, such as acrylics, polyester, and nylon, are all petrochemical products. Look at your wardrobe and notice how many items are made of these materials. Yes, I'm aware. Too much and too many. On the same video, Lightning Rod writes, you do the work of gathering up the available data to present in summaries. We all do and share it with each other. It is a valuable service. Thank you. Just one comment like that makes my day and gives me reason to keep documenting this. The same reason why Justin Panopticon posts a climate thread and an economy thread, because this is the story of our lives. This is the story of humanity. Cypher, or should I say Richard, says, life is suffering. Eliminate all life on Earth, eliminates all suffering. We're the good guys. It's a very dubious comment. It's from the same thread, from Jeremy. I used the word exponential with an acquaintance friend in December of 2019. I literally told him point blank that the US was going to lock down like China within a few months due to reasons. He told me about how excited he was for Vegas vacation that he had planned for May. Not wanting to be a wiener, I wished him a happy trip. By March of 2020, he was calling me to ask if I had any spare toilet paper. Last month he moved from the Midwest to Arizona. I wished him luck since he'll need it. Indeed, let me flash back to the heat waves that we endured this year in much of the South, including Vegas and Texas and Arkansas. It was, and even California, let's not forget, the heat waves were up there in the 110, 120 degree range for days on end. And despite whatever you might hear from SM or from CC and other channels about them being able to withstand wet bulb temperatures, no, that's such a myopic view. Not only can people not withstand, I mean, this person's clearly just thinking about themselves, because there's so many people in poor health in America, so many people, and you take away their access to health care, supplies dwindle, and the heat on top of that, and the electricity grid goes down, so you're not seeing the full picture. It's complete pandemonium. A kill house. Now does that click? Aerosol I'm asking says there's always next year a post I made. It will get worse. It will get worse before it gets worse. Yes, we're on the general downward trajectory in an exponential fashion. Please make it stop, Lone Wanderer says. I'm losing it. On Parvitek Perthamir says the more clear the science gets, the louder the dipshits get. The good thing about near-term extinction is they're all going down with us. Yes, very indeed. This comment should have way more upvotes. On 1,000 subscribers, my celebratory video, Peter Thompson says, I still remember my first panic attack in 2017. Nick Breeze and Jahir Damal was like a punch in the solar plexus combined with heart-racing anxiety. Fucked me up. Yes, it did us all. You have to go through the doom and gloom, like I said, to get to post-doom. I take that off Mr. Dowd. Everybody congratulating me, thank you, as well from Zoltan, and finally reaching my 1,000th sub. On Humanity's Barreling Towards Complete Self-Destruction video, Jarko says, because we're going to have intentional blackouts in winter due to power shortage, it will be great to work in a dark mall with no electricity when it's freezing outside. No payment if you go home, of course. I'm actually looking forward to it. Alienation really at its best or something. Yeah, that's a rough business to be in as a pharmacist without power. Many comments on my older videos, people going back through, leaving comments. It just reminds me that, hey, someone's paying attention. Elsa Johnson says, I really think things are going to get nasty here soon. I'm going to paraphrase. But she realized it's going to get worse, and that in 2016 she realized it's going to get worse, and Bill Gates is going to do nothing, and humans are like robots, etc., etc. Just an all-around doomer acknowledgement comment. Good point. Jarko says, it's a tipping point. YouTube will crash when I get to 1,000 subscribers. Did it? No, it's still pumping out denialism and hopium here and there. Now I want to go through this L-Slayer comment. Maybe this is pretty ridiculous. This is kind of long. As a Gen Xer has been aware of environmental collapse since my teenage years in the very early 90s and felt compelled to adjust personal expectations, I find both boomers and millennials to be insufferable. When it comes down to it, boomers were simply human beings who existed at the time of the most ostentatious technological escalations in the history of our species. They were garish, arrogant, overconsumptive, stupid, bad dressers, and true believers in the reckless expansion of industry. Millennials and now Gen Z exhibit just as many of the embarrassing blind spots and expectations of the boomers. Again, gross oversimplification. Y'all, are you from Texas? Because I am. Our generation of porn-addicted, obese, nature hunters, nature denialists. Gen Z more so, but I wouldn't say most of us are beasts, man. I would say that we're probably one of the most healthy generations because so much science has come out, indicating how much health and your physical well-being plays in your overall mood. So I feel like a lot of my generation is much more exploratory, experience-driven, outward versus the contrary. The truth is, you are no less lame than the dreaded elder generations you consider your nemesis. Both y'all's totally effing sick. Of course, I'm not suggesting Gen Xers are somehow less bleak. Look at what we did to music, for Christ's sake. Chumbawamba. Get Out. We loved riding airplanes, driving SUVs, etc., etc. We didn't go, a performative nihilist. No one has figured out a collective solution to the predicament of civilization. So yeah, we're just a cluster F of generations who can't seem to communicate and grew up in such radically different social and economic circumstances that it changed, and technology that changed our culture per generation. Yeah, big changes happened in the past 40 years. And our culture and technology. Civilization depends on the advancement of technology is a fool's errand from the start. I agree. This is regardless of the extra-generational relationships. Fermi's paradox starts at home, but you chuckleheads can argue amongst yourself if you want. Or we can all just go to tacos and get some and smoke some black market weed. Yeah, that's profound. I like that. Yes, Von Monty. The world is finally catching up with Dr. Guy McPherson. Jeremy Bender says on my Watching a Boomer Lose His Mind, probably a Skeletor fan. That's his new name, Skeletor. I might suggest you get some more exercise and try to lose some weight, or you'll probably not make it to Sam's age. No one's making it to Sam age, and I'm pretty certain I can do more push-ups, pull-ups, run longer, punch harder, do a roundhouse kick, put you in multiple locks on the ground. Like, I'm pretty sure, I don't need to brag about this and say, you know, I'm not about bragging in credentials or anything like that. I know what I'm capable of. It's about time we spiked up the Doomosphere. Yeah. Keep it fun. Yes, how do you cope with the pointlessness of it all? We all have a role in the pointlessness, says Hunter. Play. Just play your role and bend over. Corruption's literally, absolutely all-wheel drive 4x4 everywhere. Even with climate change, loads of BS displayed like green energy, and so on. Yep, we're using GDP to measure climate impact. The wrong measuring stick. Good on humans. Jeremy Jackson says millennials and Gen Z are smarter than baby boomers. We aren't doomed. We are going to Mars. Elon's will save us. Yes, but Elon said, cope with the pointlessness. It's not as much cope as it is just DNA doing its thing. It wants to propagate itself, so my mind will have to move to maintain it, otherwise it will die. I understand it's pointless. We don't even know why we're here. Just programmed to do what we're supposed to do. So although I work hard every day, I don't take it seriously as much as others do. Very profound comment from Joseph. I can't help but feel the arrogance of stating that we know the effect of every cause. The overall situation is obviously hopeless in any traditional sense, but we are also idiot oil monkeys that ultimately have only understood fragment of the overall. I see no reason to spare in any of all this. What do you get for that? I do the best I can for the few who remain alive. Is it pointless? I don't know. If it brings greater harmony now and then death later, the only weird part would be the harmony. Yep, indeed. Millennials and Gen Z are smarter than baby boomers. Also, I feel like boomers grumbling about overblowing the problem will never effing understand the extent of the problem due to their brain damage. Maybe it's time to let them stop making decisions. Yeah, and virtually everything else, like driving Mercedes, taking flights, ordering Prime shipping. I mean, the list goes on. If, we were wanting to do something about this, which the general mass population has no interest. Another comment from Jessica Rigler. In all, 730,000 tests were accounted for. In studying the data, the researchers found that scores declined by an average of 7 points per generation, a clear reversal of test results going back approximately 70 years. That is profound. I'm too much invested into the system to not see what's going to happen as well. Childless forever? LFG, 38 here with 2 rescued kitties. Aw. See, my Uno gives me cat kisses every morning. A girlfriend wouldn't do that every day, would she? I don't know. People in Belgium are rioting because they lost the World Cup while the world burns. Sports ball, bro. If all the billions of dollars we spent into
Sports.
if we could have used that towards, re-engineering our energy infrastructure or putting more money towards a nuclear fusion or any number of things, we might have been slightly better off, but that, water under a bridge, that's long gone. Long, profound comment from Jeremy I have to read. This is the one. If you stayed for this whole video, this is the one. You don't win anything by being right. You win something by born into the lucky sperm club or during the right time period in the right country. I agree. Let me just stop there. I think about me and having this very comfortable lifestyle in America while there's billions of people starving, suffering around the world. It's an existential dilemma. It really is. Why me? Why did I get this blessed existence? Again, I played my cards right, and I'm grateful for that, but I owe a large part of my success to do with simply being born in the cortical lottery in the fashion that I was with my particular genetic makeup. I'm not ungrateful. Back to the comment. It's not a coincidence that almost every billionaire had at least an upper middle class upbringing. People are so quick to dismiss the importance of things like epigenetics, nepotism, environment. It's not enough to be lucky in life. No, it sure isn't. When you combine luck with easy access to money and easy access to right people, that's what creates billionaires. Exactly. Okay, it doesn't look like a big fire, but it's cranking out heat. It's hot. People born in the ghetto or in a trailer park aren't born dumb or lazier. They were born without a chance. They got shitty epigenetics from their parents and grandparents. They were trained as a kid to survive instead of thrive, and their environment destroyed them. Fun fact, the poorest zip codes in Chicago tested for higher levels of heavy metals in their tap water. Everything comes back to the environment. Hard work is overrated. The hardest workers I know are poor as fuck. You can't work smart if you started in the ghetto or trailer park for the reasons described above. It's easy to multiply money when you already have money. It's easy to pay no taxes when you already have the money to lobby and buy off politicians. It's easy to make a massive profit margins by passing on the negative externalities to the rest of society. The negative externalities are going to kill us all. So well written, and some breaks there. I apologize, I butchered that. But it was just all written there. All written there. On destroying ourselves in slow motion, lots of great compliments there. Made people laugh. I need to do that. Make more funny comments. I take what you guys and kind of rip off that, you know. I do. Lots of compliments on breadbasket failures and broiler bears. Olivia Chipperfield says, when the heat dome hits BC, one well-known meteorologist and TV personality snuck in the term climate change during her broadcast of the weather. It was awesome because it was obvious to me that she was not supposed to say it out loud. I kept wondering if she reprimanded for throwing it out there. Yeah, I do wonder. Climate denier says, oh, you believe in Santa Claus as well? I'm not even going to go there. We are going in the symptom of overshoot from Olivia, yes. Levi James on America. Good to know that a peasant like me has to surrender a minimum 40 hours a week union job just to scrape by. I don't see the working class coming together anytime soon to hang the rich, redistribute wealth, and make a classless society. Nope. Abrupt, irreversible climate change will destroy habitat before then. Yes, this isn't an anti-work comment, just a we fucking lost comment. Pursue excellence and take right action in your days. Indeed. Nas says, I'm so happy I don't live in America. Jeremy says, I feel incredibly blessed to be able to experience the biggest WTF moment in human history. Me too. That's why I made this channel. At least that's what I tell myself as I remain somewhat functional in society. Yes, very hard to be a human nowadays. Les M says on humans are wired for destruction. The average person today is entirely consumed by their day-to-day life. As a result, they are unable or unwilling to think about long-term problems like climate change. Our brains are wired to focus on immediate threats and ignore future dangers. That's exactly what I pointed out in the video. Jessica says she was much rather know than not know. And that about wraps up the comments, guys. I've tried to forward through this and recorded some of it I didn't. What a good time. I don't know quite what 2023 will bring in my own personal life, but I do intend on keeping up with this channel when and where I can. I know I can kind of sound like a broken record by the end of it. I mean, how many ways do you say we're effed? At the very least, to cope with this information if there's any newcomers, and being a witness, taking part in the unraveling of our habitat. Because what else is there to do? I'm pretty sure your work that you're doing right now for money, for monetary gain, has no merit where we're going. In fact, I know that. So, thank you for staying subscribed. If you'd like to support this channel and perhaps suggest any other content you'd like to see me produce, you can do that. Put a donation below, leave a comment. And other than that, just thanks. I had a good time. I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.